to watch this again.
Thanks.
Who was Lord Peak again?
Lord Peak was just the owner of Lord Peak's Haven, the bar.
Oh, right.
Lord Peak's Haven's the bar. All right, there we go. That's up.
Which ended up having a connection on my two characters.
Oh yeah.
So, with Al's character again, so my guy was traveling from...
Yeah, we can talk it up real quick here. Hold on. Yeah.
Is that a power button?
Yeah.
Like pushing that would be bad right now, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yo, man, did you have any? Have you been imbibing in any refreshments?
Who, me?
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh yeah. Like what?
I can't do these without drinking.
Isn't that how Sheets was that one night?
Yeah, it was.
I've been worse.
Yeah. Yo, man, where's Haley?
No idea. He'll be on.
Dogs.
He'll be on, hopefully. Is there sound on your end on this, guys?
Yep, good. Is it an Anna Meyer map that's showing up right now?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
I talked to her briefly just a little while ago. And she, just to tell her about stuff. See what that'll be. Like my quote?
The next Gabbin will be on shortly. Plenty of. Where is it? Oh. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That was from Caddyshack.
Yes, good job.
Taiwan. The Zen philosopher Basho once wrote that a flute with no hole.
You were me.
And a dome with no hole is a Danish. There was a lot of animosity and problems with those two when you were filming that. From the SNL days.
Yeah, absolutely. Chevy Chase didn't get along with any of them.
He's like supposedly like him and people like Harrison Ford and stuff. They're like supposedly like assholes in real life.
Yeah.
Do you just stay on constantly? Why does mine go to this?
Because you didn't go to the main broadcast.
So show me what I'm doing wrong.
Turn it off.
So watch
re-enter.
If I just swipe it away and go away, right? It just go.
You gotta re-enter.
Twitch.
You gotta
right?
re-enter.
So go ahead. So look, watch.
You'll go back to it now.
Right.
You'll go up to this. You want that?
Okay. So now watch. You want to go to this?
That's it.
Why do those things come up here too? I hate that.
Because if you're not on, if you're not set at Prime,
Greetings, Internet.
it will do that. Everyone good, guys? All right. I don't know where Bill is, so we're good.
You know where this came from? There's a guy I used to work with. His name was
We're going on. Yeah.
Gerald.
Oh.
And they made a mistake on his optician's license, and they put him there as Gerlad. And we always used to joke about it.
Hey, we made it in one piece. So how is everyone tonight? Look at that,
We're
man.
good.
16 already. See? Thanks. So I gotta do some maintenance. Hey, it's Jay again, aka Lord Gazumba, and look who I got with me. I got Tom with me right here in person, in the flesh.
In the flesh.
In the flesh. That's a good adventure.
Okay.
I got Mark on, I got Wald on, and I got Haley and CG or MIA. So use some quotations there. I have no idea where the hell they are right now. But so what we're gonna do is welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for coming on. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do some quickie updates here. I got a bunch of new people, but we're not going to do them all. So here we go. We're going to start adding in a whole bunch of new followers. I also got a new joint auto host that I've been working on. He'll be the last one. So we got a whole bunch of new ones. One of them, Walt, is Christine from PAX Unplugged. So.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah, absolutely. Great. She got on here, and I'm really happy about that. And so thanks a lot. Here she's coming up next, and but it's tonight's gonna be a great night, man. We're gonna talk about this brand new campaign idea, and I'm gonna, that's May Allerl, that's Christine. That's the original Fritz Winchester. She
great.
What's that?
Playing that character.
Yeah, she played that character great. And this is the new Gargamon's a site. Okay, this guy has more followers than us. He's been doing it a lot longer. Gargamon, he's a second edition streamer, second edition AD&D. So he's OSR. It's a lot of mapping. I think it's D20. Check him out. We're going to auto host each other as well. So we got another one added into the community of old school gamers. So I'm really happy about that. And I'm looking on my Skype for Bill to hop on. So this is what we got. So Bill came up with this idea about 2 months ago, and thanks Naz for being on. Thanks Jeff for being on. Appreciate that. Let's see who else we got on in the crowd here. I got some new people I've never seen before. Chartreuse, thanks a lot. We're gonna have a fun discussion here. Anna said she may hop on if she gets a chance as well. This first level group, and I always say this, and Mark will back me up, and Wall especially will back me up on this. So we started Iron Fury, which was a new first level group to support the Expedition to the Ruins of Greyhawk from the Iron Brigade, so we had a group of low levels, and they were doing adventures in Greyhawk to support the higher levels. And what did I say after we made them? Echo.
Crickets.
We're never doing another new group of firsts ever.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I said. We're never doing another group of first levels ever. Always. I always say that. And then someone comes up with a great idea, because we got like 17, 18 adventuring groups, right?
Yeah.
And then so someone comes up with a real good idea, and that's what happens. So this is where we are, and I got some things running up top. So let's just go over where we are background-wise and how we got here. So let me fan through this real quick. Let me go back to this screen up here. Let me fan through these. We'll get through these. So this adventure number 832 was the one that we started, and Tom wasn't even back playing when this one came up. Okay, these are pics from it, and it was called Surprise Across the Drool River. Surprise Across the Drool. Yes, first level is great and squishy, Naz. We love that. We love that size all the time. So what we did was, we had a group, and I have the screen here. We had a group of like mid-level to high-level Knights of Ulek, including the following. We had Aylwin, Catherine von Poppen, Marion Winchester, Charlie Bravo, Syndical, Latte. I don't think Mark participated in this one. Sorsha. Yeah, Mark wasn't on this, and Tom wasn't even back playing when we did this one.
Yeah.
This started setting up the campaign that we're coming to now. They went to Andrew Winchester's Keep, which is Winchester's bulwark. That's the real big picture on our front screen. Everyone knows that. And they said that all of our patrols were all missing. Andrea wasn't in the Keep. She went across. Had the group go across, and that's this hill you're seeing. And there was a big ambush, and there was a whole bunch of these humanoids, and they were pretty high level, and there was a lot of elite troops. So when the adventure ended on this one, they were at the top of these hills, and they noticed that there were armies about a mile or two down the river on either side, coming to surround the keep, and they were crossing the river with a lot of boats, and they were crossing the river with a lot of giants. The giants were actually walking across water, back and forth, ferrying people across. So they panicked. They're like, "Oh my God, what do we do?" So that led into the big adventure we did, and that was our first giveaway. We started it, Adventure 833, Attack on Winchester's Bulwark. And that was a major 3-week adventure, and now the picks are coming up for that.
When was that actually?
It started in September. Because remember, you came the third
Oh, the
and
third
final
one,
sitting,
right,
and you
right,
played
right,
Tom the
right,
Vindicator.
right.
Yeah. So that was the third one, and that was date 33. So this was all planned to lead into this new group. So, Mark, what were your memories from that adventure?
Honestly, I don't really have many.
Mark's tired tonight. You had Railstone and Arden on that one, and Temporal.
Yeah. Probably the biggest one I would say that I remember is taking out the catapult. Temporal taking out the catapult.
Oh yeah, Temporal was the hero early in that, and that was the first week. Yeah,
Yeah.
you went out and you really.
Yeah.
What's up, Walt?
Taking out the trebuchet.
Yeah, absolutely. She went out there, flew out there, invisible, took out, and Sovereign glued the trebuchet together. They were trebucheting trolls into the keep. Yeah, that was a pretty cool thing. But only one of them got in. And there was a lot of cool highlights. See all the siege equipment and stuff. It was a massive undertaking for me to DM that. It was the biggest. Here comes Bill. It was the biggest thing we ever attempted.
Temporal was Gino's star of the game in the beginning of that.
Sir William.
There he is.
That she also feared all of those troops that left field.
She feared a whole bunch of giants and trolls, and she feared like almost like 8 of them, if I recall.
Yeah, they never even got back into the fight.
No, because they were gone for so long, and it was that was a chaotic army, if you recall. So it turns out from that, and I know Walt had in that adventure, he had Gilgalad, who came out basically out of retirement, a dual class paladin mage, and you had Stefan, a ranger cleric, and it was a massive fight. I mean, it took 3 weeks of long, hardcore fighting. So she did a real good. The Sovereign Group was used brilliantly there. And there was a lot of good maneuverability, and there was a lot of bad tactics on my part because there was so much. I remember I put the Magi out of position, and the archers chewed it apart. Remember that in the 3rd week? I remember Tom's jumping on the Vindicators jumping on top of the market stalls.
All right. Casting magic missiles.
Absolutely. Now, yeah, there's some good initial scenes of the siege when it started. So it was a massive undertaking, and the fires that Bill did came in handy. Bill's who walled and fired the whole wall? Was that Scorn? Yeah, Scorn did that, right? She walled.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a good picture here. This siege tower never made it to the wall. Didn't even come close to making it to the wall. That thing got slaughtered. There's the trebuchet that got Sovereign glued. So you guys took care of a lot of stuff, but I had a lot of high-level, really nasty characters that made it inside. And it turned into a big brawl on the higher levels. I know we had a lot of people that really got knocked down, and I made it intentionally that Andre Winchester was pretty useless, was Sims-like useless on this adventure, because I wanted you guys to handle it. So there's the group talking to her before the actual assault begins. And this sets up, and there's a lot of her dead troops. This really sets up this new first level that we're doing. We went to a lot of trouble to really develop the story behind it, and that's what I kind of wanted to discuss, was that these characters came out of Bill's idea from the Erythnol troops coming through the Sus, and basically raiding, needing a place to raid, and then we developed it from there. So what I did was, and Bill's done a fantastic job, you got a whole bunch of figures down below. It's every character figure, all but 4 of them are not painted, and they're mixed in. And then after that, I have 8 key high-level characters. And everyone has at least one that's down here that's going to be...
Guest appearance?
It's going to be in this part of the campaign. It's going to be interacting with the loads. Because what do we try and do, Bill, in our campaigns?
Everybody's got to have their own figure, and we try to interact all the characters.
Exactly. So, in order to be a living, growing world, you got to have your high levels mixing with your low levels, and it's an on-day ever-going life, right? Because if you don't, then it's just a series of it's an adventure. It's a one-off, So, what the net effect? And here's some sidebar stories. I didn't tell this story. At the end of the adventure, I'm going to scroll through this real quick and put the end. I think there's a picture of Herbie showing up with his keep. I mean, there's a lot of these. There's the Wall of Stone by Gilgalad was fantastic too. You remember that, guys? So there's a lot of fighting in nope, I missed it. All right, dummy me. Well, Herbie the White shows up in the adventure with his troops at the end. What I didn't tell you was there was an assault at his keep as well, but it was a hit and run assault. It was 3 mages came, hit and ran, and got out, and they didn't kill any of them. It was during maneuvers. One of the mages meteor swarmed an entire group of Herbie's unit and killed 90% of the troops in that. So there's a shortage of Knight of Ulek characters, troops, foot soldiers in this area now. So Herbie can't just bring his troops here. So, Bill, tell us a little bit how the idea developed for this.
Well, I mean, the Pomarj was an area that I looked at that we really didn't have much activity in. I mean, that whole area, the southern Sus and the Pomarj and Drakenskrab was relatively undeveloped.
Right.
And just thinking about different groups, Erythrol is highly worshipped in the area by a lot of the humanoid troops. And thinking, oh, you know what? This might be good. We get an old military unit from a land that was displaced, say the Horn Society. They've been working mercenaries, and they decide they want to set up shop somewhere. Well, what better place to look for somebody who's looking for mercenary soldiers?
Right. Absolutely. And I thought that he really had what the heck happened here? Bill came up with some great ideas. And one thing we like to do, we run with it with our players. We let they come up with the ideas, and we just run with them. I try and incorporate all the ideas of classes, some feats, some special abilities. We try and if I just say no, just no. If I have to put up the bill head, I do. But for the most part, you gotta listen to your players and get some input. And so what we came to was, let's base the next group of firsts here. And let's run with it as a campaign area setting instead of doing a normal city that we do it in. And the cool thing you're going to see is, and we're not sure the date of the start yet, 27th of December, maybe a second week in January. We're still trying to figure that out. We're working on it. But I'm going to put this keep up in the winter scene. So this keep will go back up with some damage on it where we are, and I'll leave the winter plaque out, and we'll put the winter trees out, and I'm going to try and make it a cool looking winter scene on it, and that's where we're going to start. Because there's going to be a lot of RP to start off, and there's going to be a lot of introductions, because everyone in our group, everyone has 3 players. So, everyone has 3 characters to start off, and it's called a joint experience group. So, Walt, do you like the joint experience group concept?
Yes, it has been great. There was a time where I wasn't playing, and a lot of my characters fell behind in the groups.
Right.
So I had to juggle around characters that I had, because I don't have enough. But it's great. I have found that there's been certain characters that I don't play as much. But it's nice that they're keeping up with the experience and going up in levels. So
and I just think it works for us because people got real lives, people got jobs, people got things that come up. You're not worried about, I missed one session, now I'm way behind. Right. So everyone's gonna have 3 characters developed from this. So why don't we just start going through, and who wants to go first? Let's start. Hey, Bill, let's start with you since you're doing all the painting for this. Are all 3 of your figures with the bows?
Yeah, all 3 have bows. Yeah.
That's how I knew they were yours. All right, so here we go. All right, Bill's gonna. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about all the characters, first level, where they're coming from, background, give you a feel of like how we develop characters and why they're coming here. So let's start. Right there. Who's that?
Oh boy, I gotta see on my screen. Okay, that guy. Let's see. His name is Rancic Thornton, goes by Thorn. Rancic, the idea behind his development, he grew up in the Western Drakensgrab and was basically the runner boy for a group of bandits called the Hillsmen. And when he was young, the Hillsmen were destroyed. And there was a ranger who, his name, what did I raise him by? His name was Eller Thornton, who basically took him in and adopted him. And he had basically been trained as a thief. He was never truly an evil character. He was just raised with the bandits. So he changed his training regime, and he's now a ranger thief.
Got it.
A 1/1. He is a half gray elf. And the idea behind the character now is while he was out, the homestead where his stepfather was raided by a group of Ravengers.
Nice.
Who tortured and murdered him, and he's out for revenge. So he's looking for somewhere to go where he can put the hurt on people who hurt him.
So he knows that he's heard the Erethnals were here. So and that's why he's come here. I'm assuming that's the reasoning behind it, right?
Well, it could be. I mean, the Ravengers, at least in the 3.5 edition stuff, travel in small war bands.
Right.
So
right.
it could have been isolated, but he wasn't able to track him down on his own. So he's going to find somebody that'll help him do it.
So that's cool. That's a good story. And he is from. You said he's from the Drakensgrabs?
Yeah, he's from the Western Drakensgrab, right on the border where the Jewel River bends in.
Okay, cool. So that's fantastic, dude. Great development on that. Walt.
Yeah.
Go with your dwarf first. How's that sound?
Okay. So
Okay. I'm getting her figure up.
Okay, so her name is Zoriana Meal.
Okay.
Her father was my very first character, who I had played with Tim. His father was the DM. This is before I started playing with Jay.
Yep.
At the time I was playing with Tim and his younger sister, Amy. Amy had a character who was a female dwarf named Zaphana of the Mountain.
Okay.
So what I did was, she is actually the love child of those two characters.
So she is actually the daughter of Schlem and Mill, is what you're saying?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so if anyone's watching our adventure right now going on, Elemental Evil and the Lord Mills, you all know that the company that hired the Reborn is SM Mining Interest Limited. That stands for Schlem and Meal. Schlem and Meal is a super high. What level is he? 13th?
13th level fighter.
13th level mountain dwarf male fighter with a balance of sharpness. Very nasty character. We can't take claim for it being up the first in our campaign. Straighten that out for me. But that character's done a lot of adventuring in ours. A lot of Waltz to start off were not were brought over when we were kids, and that was one of them. So basically, she's now from Altamira, or is she from the Lort Mills? You said.
No, she'll be from Altamira. So.
Excellent. Okay. And what's her alignment, if I may ask?
She'll be true neutral.
True neutral. Why is that?
Well, she wants to make a name of her own.
Okay. You Ranger Thief, chaotic good, Bill? I didn't ask that.
Yeah, chaotic good. Yeah.
Hey guys, this is the first I'm getting details on these characters. That's so awesome. You know what I'm saying? It's the first time even hearing about these, and just to show you, this, and we do this with every group. So, Mark.
Yeah.
Pick one.
Let's go with Sylphir. So Sylphir is from the Welkwood, which is on the other side of the Jewel River, west of the Jewel River and west of the Wild Coast. and he is a Sylvan Elf Avenger.
That's not him. I gotta find him. He's unpainted, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not. Is that him?
No.
Swords in the other hand. Not him. Not
All
him.
right, I went by him. Hold on.
There he is.
There he is. Yes. So everybody knows I was really bad, and I
We
didn't
have a
get
special guest here.
too late.
Fucking game.
So
Oh, it's all right, Mark. I'm still working on him, so it's not a problem. We have time.
Someone who remains headless is here. You know who it is. Happiest man on the planet. So from the Welkwood area.
yeah. So Sylphir is from the Welkwood area, and basically he is a true what you would consider like a a crazy naturist. So he is really hell bent on making sure that those that destroy either animals and or nature.
Sorry about the light, guys. I can't see. I'm old and can't see.
He's old, but he's not gray.
no gray. So Zolfir's neutral as well.
Yes, he is true neutral.
He's an Avenger.
But he is an Avenger. He is a
Awesome.
yeah. So he's
That's
a
awesome.
crazy naturalist that believes in taking vengeance on those that destroy nature.
Okay, so Welkwood though. I have down Sus, but he's from the Welkwood.
He's from Welkwood.
Welkwood.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Cool. And he's come here because he sees an opportunity to take care of these pillagers and stuff. And we probably do we lose Walt?
No, I'm still here.
Okay, something popped off. You guys see if Alan does pop on, let me know. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So Tom, let's talk about this character first because he's the oldest one, right?
Which one? Fred?
Yeah, this character actually. Let me wait till we get through his picture. Here we go. This is Tom's. There we go.
There he is.
Go for it, man.
All right, guys. So his name is Kren. He's half ogre, and he was formerly known as Kranetar the Elf Eradicator. So he had a pretty sketchy past where he was just a formidable foe against the elven people, and he had slayed just legions of elves. And
He was a Pomarjian. He's from the Pomarj.
correct, he's from the Pomarj, and he is classless. Let me just tell you. But he had an event that occurred in the past where he basically was, double hand broadsword about to take a gray elf in half, and something happened, man. It's just like time stopped, and he had a change of heart. Something just happened to him, and he went into hiding for years. And basically, he came back with a name change as Kren, and he's true neutral. I mean, needless to say, he was chaotic evil in the past.
Right, and the great thing about this character is he played him once back in the 80s. This sheet is 30 years old. This character, and I age him, he's 52 for a half ogre.
Yep.
So he's old. So he's like come out, he's been hiding as a hermit somewhere. No one knows where. Maybe we'll find out. And he's back, and he fights with a bastard sword. He's specialized, Warhammer, and he has taunt. So pretty cool, straight fighter.
Yep. Should be interesting.
And they're taking all types here, and this is going to be fun because we're going to see all sorts of crazy characters all intermixed and intermingling. And there's Alan, so let me add him to the call.
If anybody ever saw the original Highlander, if you remember the character, the Kurgan, played by Clancy Brown, he kind of is the model for Kren, so to speak.
Well, Naz, that's a good question. Hey, Alan. Ogres live longer than you'd think. So half ogres, I think, live to be like 70 or 80, believe it or not. I'm going to verify that. What's that?
I think it's closer to 100.
Yeah, okay. Half ogres do live fairly long. So being 52, I think he's middle-aged for a half ogre. He's not old yet, so... Well, we're going to check that. But, I actually aged him every year, and he's just been hermiting for 30 years of game time. So we're talking about, after the wars and all that stuff, he just disappeared. And I think Tom's going to develop where he was in the course of discussion. I think this is a good base story for it, and it's cool. I mean, he's the biggest smasher. I mean, what's he +3, two-handed? He's +3, +10 already at first level. You know, so he's gonna be nasty character. But then again, he's got some real drawbacks, like the 6 wisdom and a 2 charisma. So it's gonna be a fun character for this group. Like I said, yes, absolutely, Naz.
Do you know the reason why I even created him? The origin of that?
Because of the figure. Because you had the figure, I thought.
Yeah, but it goes beyond that, guys. What happened was when I first started gaming with Jay back in the 80s, this probably would have been like, I mean, I came on board in about 85, and this must have occurred in around 86. What happened was I thought that potentially I might run like a little campaign of my own with some of my crew back at home. And I had bought a box set of the Forgotten Realms and so forth. And what Kren, or Kraintar, the Elf Eradicator, what he originally was he was really kind of modeled after. It's supposed to be like kind of like your Makarash. In other words, he would just come in and just cause chaos and destruction. Yeah. And even if his hit points were about to drop to 0 or less, he would just be gone.
Right. He'd be one of those kind.
Yeah, he'd be one of those kind. And then that never came to fruition. And basically, he actually arose in this campaign.
But now think about this. Now he's going to be working with a group that has a different agenda, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun because the conversation is going to be very short on words, and a lot of grunting, and a lot of go ahead, say, come on, talk like him.
What's that?
Come on. Go ahead.
I can't do it.
Come on, do Clancy Brown. Come on, man.
I can't do it.
Oh man. So Alan, we've only been through one character each, and I haven't even gone yet. So why don't you go up with one, man? What do you?
All right. I'll start with my. I'll start with my gray elf, female. So her name's Dee, just D-E-E. She's from Selene. She is like the never satisfied millennial. Now she just wants to go out and do things. I'm bored. I'm tired of living at home. I want to go do things. She's an earth elementalist, but she really just is out to enjoy life. So she's out to look to hang out with a new group of people. She doesn't really care where she goes. She's going to happen to wander her way down to the Pomarj, or down to Principality where she'll meet up with everybody. She thinks that basically the dwarves, the elves, the dwarves, the halflings, the humans are all just kind of playthings for her. They're all kind of, short-term things they're not around very long. They're just cute and fun to play with. You should have a couple of, of your own.
But here's the thing about Dee. That's short. What's her name, full name? Because Greyhawk Mike's on, and he needs to hear this. This is a good story.
Okay, so she's actually from the Queen's family, and she's actually distantly in line for the throne. She has no desire to do that. She can't stand her all the formality crap they have to do. And what is Walt doing?
Walt's in his car. I don't know what he's doing. He's hiding in his car because his wife's trying to get some sleep. She's get up at 1 a.m. So
okay, so
1 out.
So she doesn't want anybody to know her name, so she just goes by D, which is Yolande's last name or last letters. So she is really just doesn't want any part. She's almost like on Run. Hello, Walt. Almost on like Run. What's the Amish when they go out for the year?
Runstriga.
So she's kind of on that. It might be a little longer than a year though, because she's an elf.
So here's the deal. We have a list of houses, and this is what I'm going to bring this to the Greyhawk thing. We have the Royal Noble Houses of Selene. There's 10 of them. We developed this up, and Lady Ralta is on this one. Melf's on there, but Dee is actually named Yolan. Someone they named her after the Queen, basically, and she hates that. So she chaotic neutral. Is she a chaotic neutral?
She is chaotic neutral. Absolutely.
Yeah, she sounds chaotic neutral. Very chaotic neutral, but you said that she's Earth Elementalist?
Earth Elementalist.
It doesn't the figure have a picture of her with fire in it?
It's magma.
Oh, it's magma. I'm sorry, I didn't switch this. Hold on, there she is. All right, there's her figure, painted by Bill. So,
magma.
All right, yes, absolutely. So, Mike, here's a question.
Earth and blast.
Yeah, Greyhawk Mike had a question. Has anyone died of old age? That's a great question. We are very close to it. Our friend Tim has a character named Glamdring. He's a straight fighter. His death is 66. He's 62. Okay, that's the closest we've gotten to someone dying actually from natural causes. in the campaign. So we're getting actually close to actually having, because we've been playing for so long, that we're getting close to that actually occurring. But half elves and elves, it's almost impossible, you know. Now we have some old people. Emerson Winchester the First is still alive at like 125 as a human or something crazy. He's close, but I never played him. He was always a father figure to that Winchester tree. I only played the second on down, so there's another one. He's gonna be, you know, we've had people like that in the ancillary around characters that have passed, but Glamdring will be the first one of an actual player character that dies of old age. So, and we have people that are old, like the first generation of characters are in their 70s now. Like, you know, Alan would have been, but he died a long time ago. We won't talk about that and get him all upset. So, yeah, well, we'll see, Mike. You never know on that. So everyone's had a round. So we'll go to Amazing NPC. Here we go. We'll start with someone everyone should know. Yes. Well, Mike, we appreciate that. And by the way, Mike's. I'm gonna give him a shout out. Greyhawker is a fantastic website. Go to it. Does great work on it. I love the stuff he does. It's called Greyhawkery. All things Greyhawk. It's great. And he does some really cool old school comics. Please check it out. All right. So here we go. All three of my characters were play tested at PAX by real people too. Millicent Von Kessel. Does anyone remember the name? Naz probably does. This is the character. If you remember our holiday special Halloween, it was called "It Takes Two: A Tale of Love and Horror," and a girl ran off. Her father was Erwin Von Kessel, and her father asked for you to recover her, and she ran off with her boyfriend. And then you found the boyfriend that got toadied into some undead little creature. If you all remember, and then they fought ropers and some things like that, and they recovered her. That is this girl. Okay?
Yep.
So she's actually now going to be adventuring. So what happened after you returned her to Altamira? She stayed at home for a bit and said, I hate my father, I hate my life, but I really need to make something of my life now. So I'm going to follow the people that saved my life, and that I want to be work in their footsteps. I want to become an adventurer. Where do I start? Altamira is a big place for Knights of Ulek. She got in touch with them and found out that the Winchester's bulwark, the keep, needed troops. She only wears studded leather. That's the thing about her. Her trick of the trade is this. And let me get to her figure.
Well, I just saw his.
Oh, I went right by. Oh, yeah, you did, didn't you? I wonder why.
There he is.
Almost there. Okay. Fantastic paint job. Hey, Bromium. Glad to see you can hop on, man. Yes, Anna's on, so please compliment her on the maps. Millicent's trick of the trade is this. She fights bastards. She wants people to think she's a thief, to give her a tactical advantage in combat. So she fights bastard, and has dirty fighting and is a two-fisted fighter, finesse fighter. So she likes to go with lighter armor. I don't think she'll ever go with heavier armor. She get bracers, she can. That's her fighting style. Very roguish looking, but she's a true fighter. So that's my first NPC. All right, let's go round table. Who went first last time? Bill?
Yep.
If you got a link into someone else's character, please just say I have a link in, and we can talk about them both at the same time. So.
Well, yeah, I guess I do. Second character I'll talk about. His name is Perrin Nayrick of House Springus.
Yes.
House Springus. Okay, we're gonna do a double shot here. I'm gonna go to your figures. Tell me if I'm on the right one. That one.
Nope.
That one.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a little hard to see on mine, but yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, he is a specialty priest of Solvanor. He's a chaotic good gray elf, and he is his ultimate goal is he wants, and within our campaign we have an order of knights that's not a canon group called the Knights of the Sus Forest Watch.
Yes, Selenian Sus Forest Watch. Another thing we're going to bring to the Greyhawk Wiki. Go ahead. Let me get that out.
And so far, no one other than either Cavaliers or Rangers or straight fighters has been able to approach membership and get in.
There is an Archer Ranger, so you're in. Yes, but you're right. It's all. It's an
all warrior group.
It's an organization created by a lot of the upper houses of the 10 great houses of. Basically almost ripped that off from D3. Did you have that? Did you give me back that sheet? Yeah, keep going on that. So, but they limit it to 12 members. 10 members from Selene, okay, of certain lesser and greater houses. 1 member honorary, an elf from Welkwood, who's not technically from Selene, and 1 human, a friend of Selene, and that's it. They won't. It's kind of like the Dunedain, where there's very few of them. They don't want the organization to get bigger. So that's where and continue your story from that. Let's get some background on that organization. Good.
Yeah, being a priest, he's not really eligible for membership. So his goal is to go out and make a name for himself and still be able to do something in the SUS to correct the evil flow that is incurring there and trying to restore some power to the side of good.
Do you have a parent? Is Lord Garrus actually your father, uncle? What is he in Springus?
No, he's probably a cousin of his father.
A cousin of his father. Okay.
Yeah.
The irony here is House Springus is a lesser house of Selene. So is Gazumba's house, Gistrul. So is Pendril, which a lot of people have. So is Swain, Mark's character, Markham. But we have a second actual member from House Springus. So we're going to jump to that character next. And he is being painted. He's partially painted. So let me find him.
No, he is painted.
He is. No, he's part there.
No, he's not.
Okay. Go ahead, Tom. Tom's up. This is another House Springus member, believe it or not. The irony's on that. So.
All right, so this one, affectionately called Thomas the Younger. What he is he's the son of my character, Tom the Vindicator. Father was half-elf, mother was gray elf. So technically he's a quarter human, 3/4 elf, but by rules he's half-elf, obviously. Yep. From Selene, obviously, House of Springus. So when he was coming up, he mostly spent more time, in his mother's neck of the woods, hence the house. But it's going to be an interesting one. Fighter magic user, just like his father, and it's just going to be good. Neutral good.
Yeah, neutral good character. But he's being modest. His mother is currently on our adventure we're doing right now, right?
Correct.
Who's his mother?
Sherry the Mystic.
Sherry the Mystic, who's on the adventure right now we're doing, adventure number 838, Elemental Evil in the Lord Mills. She's the one, if you remember, had put that big wall of fire up outside. It was on the map, on the pictures. So she's a fighter. So it's a family of fighter mages.
Right.
All 3 of them.
They're all fighter mages.
Yes,
right.
absolutely. Yeah. And they're from House Springus as well. So do you think you guys are distant cousins or with elves? First cousins? What do you think?
I mean, the fathers were cousins at some point. They could be second cousins
Okay.
or third cousins. Yeah.
Right. There's definitely a bloodline.
There's a bloodline there, but you're not the best of friends or anything like that.
Right.
Right. They've probably known each other in passing at gatherings, but don't really know each other.
Right.
Cool. So that's great, man. I like it. I like it a lot. Yep. So this character fights longsword, longbow, and has that base style that you consider with elves. He hasn't added some of his extra proficiencies or whatever, but it's going to be a good character. His stats are actually better than his father's too. If you compare them,
yes.
He's got much better stats than his father. And like I said, this character goes back. His father, he played him in '87. Went through the original Temple of Elemental Evil when we ran that in '86, '87.
We were in Virginia, right?
We finished that in Virginia at Mark's sister's house. That was one of the best weekends ever.
Yeah, that's where Pelnor got fried.
That's exactly. That was a great adventure. So Walt, hit us up with one.
Well, no, actually, my two are interconnected. So.
All right, we'll skip you and then do you on the last round because we'll do them both at the same time. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay, so Mark, go up. You're up.
Sure. All right, so my next character is also going to be a little bit of a newer one for me as well because I've never played this class. He is a human bandit from the city of Elred in the Wild Coast, just north of the Swiss Forest.
I know which figure that is.
His name is Philip McOxenbowles.
There it is.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a big MCOEXENB something.
BAULS.
I can't even read my own handwriting.
He currently looks like he was breathed on by a red dragon, but we know that'll change.
Bill's working on it. 18 figures is a lot to paint, man.
Yep.
In
It
great
is.
detail. So go ahead, Mark. Tell us a little more about him.
So the basic gist of him, real simple. He's out for himself. He doesn't give a shit about anybody. He's a bandit by trade because he just basically takes whatever it is that he wants. He's totally incorrigible. He doesn't really give a shit what anybody thinks. And, essentially, the only reason why he's even adventuring, he's actually older. He's 43 years old.
Wow, I didn't even notice that.
What did you say
So-
his limit was again?
Neutral.
Okay.
43. That's cool. Where's his original location from?
Elred.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We decided. So Elred has been overrun. It's still the slavers still hold it. Davis the Reaver's there. Marquesa the Gold is there still. So
Yep.
that's a slaver town in our campaign from the slavers reference. So
Yep.
I don't know what happened, if anything happened in Living Greyhawk or anything, but for us, that's what it is. So that's our main town that Davis the Reaver works out of. So,
Yep.
yeah.
And he was the landowner that was there that basically got overrun. And so he's just, once again, just basing himself to basically get back on his feet. And like I said, doesn't really care about anybody else or who gets in his way. And he'll just take whatever it is that he feels it should be his.
Well, why isn't he character neutral? Just you just think that just because of being a bandit, it works better being true neutral for this? Okay.
A little bit better because chaotic neutral to a degree is we always say it's chaotic stupid. But I also do believe that there's a case to be made for neutrality, that you can be out for yourself and you just basically fall within whatever line it is that is within your best interests. And so
Right.
sometimes that's within the law, sometimes that's not within the law, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's evil.
Your video's chopping and everyone else's is smooth. Bill's and Alan's. That's really strange in Twitch. Yeah, you're fine, Alan. You're fine, Bill. It's really weird, but that's okay. So, do you think he's going to be a problem in the group?
Oh, I think everybody's going to be a problem in the group to everybody else. I don't think that there's just a natural tendency for.
So let's stop right here. Bromy has a question. I'm going to explain it because for new people and for Anna. We do things differently with us. We do what's called joint experience groups. So there's I allow in our adventuring parties that get formed. We started this, I don't know, 5 or 6 groups back. Everyone plays. They don't play them at once. Everyone has 3 characters, and depending on the adventure, the mission, it's kind of a pool, And say a couple people can't make it, you may have to pull an extra character out. There's some missions you may have 1, you may take 2. Everyone gets joint experience though, so there's less experience given out by me, but it's even across. Everyone gets 2,000 experience points. Some of the characters didn't go. Now they don't get treasure picks on that adventure, but it's what we call a joint experience group. So everyone is developing 3 characters, and the reason we do that is also it's a variety thing, and it takes longer for the adventuring group to really go up. You play them a lot, yeah. See, you play them a lot longer. You have fun with it. It's just it works for us, and once again, we're playing amongst our friends here, and that's what it's all about. It's all about playing with your friends and having fun. That's what it is with us. We've all known each other for 30, 40 years, and the style developed over time, and it works. And like I said, first 1E, 2E works for us too, and it just I don't know if we'd ever I don't know if I'd ever consider 5E. We got too many custom house rules, but that's cool. There's no right or wrong way to play Dungeons and Dragons, and that's a great thing.
So we never take ourselves too seriously, right?
Yes. And Alan just put something in. Alan just talked about Michael Baton in chat. Yeah, we try not to take ourselves too seriously, but so.
Well, kill him off. I'm serious about.
Yeah, so that Broman, that's kind of explaining how it works for us. It's neat. It's neat. It's a fun way to do things, and so let's talk about Alan again. We're up with you for your second one.
All right, do Tom next, because Tom leads into mine.
Okay, well, how about the other one? Because Tom's would be on his third. How about the other one you have?
Oh, okay. So we can do Tharg.
Yeah, do Tharg.
All right. So Tharg. First of all, my most favorite character I have in the campaign is Garth Warmonger, and I've had him. He was probably one of the top 7 or 8 characters I ever made back when I started playing again in the mid-80s. And he's a half-work fighter cleric, and He only takes the cleric so he can keep fighting, keep healing himself to fight. So all he ever takes is healing spells. So all he wants to do is fight, fight, fight. Anybody who doesn't fight, like mages or archers, they're all what he would deem less than manly.
No, you can say it. No one's gonna get upset on here. Go ahead. What do you call him?
He has a stamp with a P in it for pussy. He heats up, and if somebody is acting very pussy, he'll heat it up with some fire and stamp you with it, so you know you're a pussy the rest of your life.
Yes.
So the second great thing about Garth is that he has had sex, even as a half-orc, with every single hot chick in the campaign. Every single one. The Queen of Selene, every Winchester, he's boned them all. And nobody will admit to it because they really don't want that to be out in public, but he has. So this happens to be one of his bastard children. And the guy, some woman dropped him off at a farm in the Principality of Ulek. And so he was raised on a farm, taught to love the land. There was a local druid who taught him the basic things of druid. Clearly he's a human, but he has some half-orc traits. He's kind of ugly. He's really stocky, though, and strong for a druid. Good constitution. He recently found out that his father may be Garth Warmonger. So he's headed down to work under him and see if it really is his father. Once he establishes that, he's going to find out who the mother is. He's got strawberry blonde hair probably from his mother, since Garth is brown hair. So it's probably some woman with strawberry blonde, maybe red hair, something like that. So
a lot of the Winchesters have red hair.
Oh, do they? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they do. But that's okay. So he's a braggart. He talks a lot, and obviously he hasn't banged Lady Ralta, obviously. But he thinks he has in his mind, which has always been the joke with Garth. Garth has never died in a fight, ever. Right? He's still got 19 Constitution. He's never died. He's never been put. I don't even think he's ever been put in the negatives, ever.
Oh, he has. Remember, Arachnael did it to him.
Oh, yeah, that was a fumble. Yeah.
No, it wasn't a fumble.
No?
No, remember he intentionally burning hands Garth when he was at like 2 hit points?
Yeah.
And put him in the negatives?
Okay, you're right. And that's why, tell that story with the Squeeze Me Teddy story.
So, Garth along the way has collected a bunch of goofy things. He's got a members-only jacket that says on the back, mess with the best, die like the rest.
From the Twofold Talisman, guys, if you remember that adventure.
Yep.
So he has that. He's got some very preppy shoes he wears with his armor. And he got a hold of these 2 items. One was a Squeeze Me Teddy that made a noise, Mommy, every time you squeezed it. And back when we were playing, there was another group, another PC who was running characters, and they were annoying as heck. Yeah. So Garth made it his point to torture them whenever he could. And at one point, one of them went down to -1 hit points at the end of the fight. So Garth, as he was dying slowly to -10, would go with a doll right over his face, Mommy, Mommy, Mommy. And when he got down to -9, he cast a Cure Light Wound spell, bring it back up to 10, or -1 or -2, and then did it again. And then healed him again and did it again. And the guy whose character it was Arachnael, the guy who actually put him in the negatives later for revenge. That was one of Garth's favorite incidents.
Yeah.
So
it's like Bill just hit you in the head.
This is what I have to deal with.
Bill just hit you in the head.
Garth also, as a first-level character, killed an ancient red dragon himself.
Yeah, that's another story. That's one of his other stories. He has a lot of stories, which is kind of cool, because the character, he'll just go off on a tangent and start talking about stuff. So I'm really interested to see his quote-unquote son, this Avenger. No, he's a druid. He's just a straight
druid.
So we have an Avenger and a druid on this. That'll be cool. We got 2 druids. I'm really interested to see where that goes. Because when we show up, the high levels that are involved on this, you'll see that Garth will be here as one of the high levels. All right, so it's my turn now. Second one. Woo! Another character to play tested at PAX Unplugged. Okay. And Walt will remember this character was Gino's star of the game in the first group. Okay. And her name is Kendra the Retriever. All right, now.
Yeah.
All right, so she is from Selene, House Gestrul. It's a lesser house, but this is Lord Gazumba's house. Absolutely. The story goes like this. She respects what House Gestrul has done all these years in Selene. She's young, another young half-elf. Actually, 75 is not that young for half-elf, so she's been around a little while. And she decides that her goal in life is there's a lot of people out in the world, particularly humans, maybe a lot of humanoids, probably a lot of dwarves because you can't trust them, that need to be brought to justice, but she could care less about the justice part. They have bounties on their heads. So her idea, she's a bounty hunter mage, which bounty hunters are our adaptation of the assassin, so you can play one. Bounty hunter mage, and her goal is to use her magic user spells to enhance her abilities to sneak up and knock people out unconscious. It went very well in the play test. She doesn't wear armor at all. She fights footman's mace, horseman's mace. She's true neutral. We'll see. This is not the first bounty hunter mage in our campaign. Alan's played one. Pat Smith. He's played one as well. So yes, she's the retriever. That's what she likes. I don't know. I made the name up, and we'll see if it sticks or not. Yep, there you go. You can plug that in. Thanks, man. So, okay. So, I'm interested to see how this character goes. It'll be a background character like my NPCs have evolved into in the last couple of groups.
You like that Greyhawk, Mike? A bounty hunter mage.
Yeah. So, Mike, this is what we do. So, Mike, we have assassins. We've kind of allowed a little here and there on a test. The bounty hunters, I made it up before I even knew there was one in the Dragon magazine, so it's kind of both. So the bounty hunters are kind of like an assassin, except they render unconscious from behind instead of assassinate, and they knock out for 2 to 8 turns, which is almost the equivalent of assassinating because you're not getting back in a fight if you're knocked unconscious. So it's a multi-class character. Bounty hunters are, they're a little better than assassins in fighting, but they really stick to blunt weapons, that type of weaponry. I'd be more than happy. It's another thing. I got a lot of stuff I want to bring out to our future Greyhawk group, so that people can. We got 38 years of content that we've been sitting on hiding, and we want to bring it out to everyone. That's one of the reasons why we're streaming. So I'm really excited about that. There's a lot of cool things we can really share with everyone. Yeah, thanks, man. Really appreciate that. So that's her. All right, so let's go to the last round, and Walt's got a double header coming up. Let's go to Walt. Let's do your double header. You got to talk to me about these together. So go ahead.
Okay. So Jay ran a one-off adventure a couple of times ago.
Finding Harus Harn.
Harus Harn, yeah.
Harus. It wasn't that long ago, but it was probably like 8 to 9 adventures ago, and we streamed it. Yep, good.
So Harus Harn was a brother of William Harn, who is in our annals as a very great fighter and warrior. But he was a paladin that fell to the wayside.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he did.
When we had fought him, he was a true vampire at the time.
Yes. He was turned into a vampire, and very willingly, I might say. So since it was something that was never going to be developed past this adventure, right?
This is what's great about Jay. He's like, come up with something different. So the characters I came up with was his children. The one, his name's Darius. He is going to be a quasi-elementalist who was a disappointment to his father because he didn't become a paladin or a true fighter. So Harris played him off. He wasn't what he wanted as for his son. So Harris, we'll say, was part of an envoy that adventured to the Shield Lands to help out in the Shield Lands. So he was absent from his house for a year. In that time, his mother was seduced by a vampire. They ended up having sex. She became pregnant.
Dun dun dun.
So when he came back, here his wife had a child. A female. So of course, rumors and everything else. Where did this ever happen? So I threw that into him becoming a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
The influence was there, and because of what happened. So the daughter is called a damn fear.
Right. So think of Blade. And if you know, we have Eric Blade in the Shieldlands. His name's Eric, but we have Whistler and Eric in the Shieldlands Scouts. So she's going to have some thirst issues ability. But what class is she?
She's an undead hunter.
And there's her figure out. She's actually an undead hunter. Undead hunter, we have two subclasses of paladins. These were ripped off right from Baldur's Gate 2, guys. Inquisitor and undead hunter. So they have some extra abilities. They have, instead of resistances to disease, they have resistances to undead effects. They get special extra attacks against undead, that kind of stuff. They get searing light and false dawn. They get some once per day. They get a lot of things like that. So she's actually an undead hunter, and he's a quasi elementalist. So they're brother sister. Think of what's that movie, Mark? I mean,
Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah, almost.
Because quasi-elementalists challenge characters that has proven are very nasty against undead.
Yes.
And armored.
And
exactly.
armored too. Undead though, yeah, absolutely.
But after the things of their father being killed and his as a vampire, they have fled their homeland, County Ulek. They came down to Altamira because the group that killed their father came from Altamira. So
yep. Mm-hmm.
That's why they fled down this way, and they're going to continue down into the Pomarj area.
Right. So they're drawn to what's going on at this keep. Like this keep is basically have no troops there, and they're like, this is a perfect opportunity. So
yeah.
I'm interested to see. I've never allowed this in a player character before to have a special effect like this. Walt came to me with this idea, and I'm like, well, let's develop this up and see how it goes, man. It can't hurt to try this. So, and you have two classes. So anyone who knows second edition, there was 4 elementalists. We developed them as all separate spell lists, which is cool. But we added 2. We added Quasi, which is Radiance and Lightning, and then we added Para, which is all the weird shit like Salt and Ooze and all that. And so there's 6 different elementalists we have. 6. I can't even put them in my hand. 6 different elementals we have. And Quasis are a fantastic class. All the lightning spells and all the irradiant spells really can do some nasty damage to undead. So I'm interested to see they're kind of one-track minded. What are their alignments, Walt?
Both lawful neutral.
They're both lawful good, right?
Neutral.
Lawful neutral. Ah, so they're one of their more Van Helsing types. Cool.
Yes.
That's awesome, man. That's good. So notice we probably have more neutrals than goods on this group. Kind of cool. So, well, Walt, it's interesting to see if they'll adventure separate. I'm wondering if that'll happen. If they have to get split up, what'll happen too? And like, who is the brother more protective of the sister, or vice versa? I know he's older. Is he more protective?
The brother will be more protective. He is 10 years older than her.
Okay.
He has more or less been raising her from a very young age. So
excellent. That's cool. Okay, Mark. What do you got?
Okay. So my last character...
Your picture's frozen, but we won't worry about that. Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. So the last character that I have is called Ladaden. And Ladaden is a new specialty priest that we're running, Ulek.
Unpainted. There she is.
Yep.
Ula.
Of Ula. Yep.
And this is a first. What is she?
So she is a female gnome.
Yes.
First time in the
Marie Lynch
campaign,
relative?
it's my understanding that anybody has run one.
I don't recall in 38 years a female gnome.
Yep.
First. Yeah.
Look at
So
that beard.
so Ula is the god of mining, human, dwarven, and gnomish, and
Correct. Correct. Now, her actual area of origin is in the Cron Hills. And for those that have been watching my other group here in Ohio play on Monday nights, there was a mention made of her that she was sent from the city of Overlook to come down to this area. Because they thought that is the things that are going on in the Swiss forest are also happening sometime at some place somewhere in the Lort Mills as well. And the higher ups there think they're connected, and so they sent her down there to basically report back any information it is that you can.
right. And so this character, and I've been talking to somebody online. I talking to Greyhawk Mike about this. Is that we're trying to really do something that is. It's not as easy as it sounds, but we're trying to interconnect all the adventures between the world we've developed and Mark's new group of brand new. Most of them are raw, brand new, first time ever playing players with their characters in Mark's group, and he allows 2 in his. So we're trying to do that, and it's not as easy as you'd think, because there's always a coordination, what's on the map, what's not. So this is how we're doing it, by story, by bringing characters across, by like me bringing the connection to Bladestorm into his group with the character Canvas I'm playing in his group, and that's how we're trying to interconnect the world and all what's going on. So this character Ula has come out, and I'm excited to see, because anyone knows. Here's another rule I have, and I already broke it, but technically I didn't. So when we do a new group of firsts, here's our Bible. This is the Specialty Priest Bible. And by the way, next week's Gabbin, we're going to talk about Specialty Priests, because we got to go into them a little bit more than we have. So it's called Delving Deeper into the Specialty Priests for next Sunday night. There's our list of all the Specialty Priests that we have. They're not all Greyhawk deities. Some of them may not be, like Uko and Ilmater and stuff, but there's like 30 some here. It's almost 40. Some of them are NPC only, but I say, guys, when I do a new group of firsts, I will make up one new specialty priest each time if someone wants to do it. And I made up an Erethnal one for the bad guys, and I said, well, that counts. And then Mark convinced me. Norse, yeah, we have Freya. We actually have Freya, Celestian. Good question. We do have a Freya one. We had Freya because of the Necromancer Games connection and how great they were back when it came out with 3rd edition stuff. So we do have that, the Crucible Freya adventure, if anyone has that. It's a really cool adventure, and so we do have a Freya one. So Mark convinced me, and he went through a whole list of which ones he wanted to do, and I said, well, why don't we do Ula? Ula's kind of cool. So and now we'll see how that character with her special abilities works. But we'll talk.
Well, Ula is actually a greater deity in Greyhawk that hasn't really gotten any respect. So hence is the reason why I wanted to go down that path.
Yeah, so we had a tie-in back in the day on Specialty Priests to the Finnish too. Finnish themes. Yeah. So, but that's a great question, Celestian. So there are some others that we use, like all the Winchesters worship Uko, and like all of David Gradivus' clan, they worship Ilmater, which is really ported over from Forgotten Realms. So there's some crossover. It's just the way the thing goes. Yeah, Ula, yeah, I know, Mike, you did. So we are going to. I want to see how this goes, because we've really ignored Ula for 30 years. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do that as well. And I'm so glad Mark chose a known female, because it's a first. So it'll be fun. Absolutely. All right, Alan, what's your third one?
No, Tom. Start with Tom.
Tom, let's start with yours. Go ahead, Tom.
Let's start with me? Okay.
Let's do it. Let me get to your figure.
All right.
Get to your figure. There you go. So go for it.
All right, hold on a second here. Just gonna look at one last thing.
Jeff, I think way back in the days, I think so. But I don't think, I think that was a halfling. I think it was a halfling, though.
All right, guys. So this character, Gerlad Grenamore, if you can see that.
Yep.
Okay. He's a specialty priest of Tritharion. He's a human, chaotic good. He's actually from Glipdel.
I got yous. I got y'all. He's from Glipdel. So, and tell him why. Why is he from Glipdel?
Well, if you remember one of the last adventures we just had, basically there was an amount of thanks that was being paid by the town folk, so to speak, and Gerlad now wants to kind of like take to the streets, and he wants to give a hand. So on his travels, he comes across Bainion, which is one of Alan's characters, also a specialty priest of Tritharion, but he basically is going to take him under his wing, sort of like a protege.
Yeah, I think he's actually a fighter.
No, he's a fighter. What am I saying?
Yeah, it's okay, but he's a Tritharion worshiper, and he's also
right.
I think Alan had to step away. He's a Sylvan elf. So,
I'm here.
Okay, so the quick story on this is the call from Glipdel. We've always used Glipdel as a whipping boy of the northern Principality of Ulek. With Lord Mayor Ichabod there. So Gerlad has come from Glipdel and has said, "Wow, these adventurers came in. They saved our town from these dark elves. Remember that adventure was only a couple ago, and now he's going to head out. He's heard the call from the Knight of Ulek to go out to these keeps." So he's traveling now. He's going to travel up to the Watcher's Tower 1, which actually, guys, is right where Thunderstrike is on your maps, Anna. Sorry, but we got some conflicts there. So go ahead. So what are you going to do? And then you're going to run across this guy, and you guys are going to have a lot to talk about, is basically. So,
Right.
So I'll pick up my guy now.
Yes,
so
go
my
ahead,
guy's Bainion, and he is a Sylvan elf. For those of you who follow any kind of Adam Sandler movies, I kind of equate him to a Happy Gilmore kind of thing. He all he wants to do is fight. He's a fighter. He's strong, not real smart. If somebody is taking way too long to do something, he'd rather just attack. He is so pissed off that the Pomarj has been invading into the Sus Forest where he lives, and people don't seem to be doing enough about it. He's just bringing the fight to the Pomarj. He wants to push the humanoid back out to the Azure Sea. He's had enough of this, and he is just pissed off. So he's looking for revenge. He's just looking to kill things, come out and fight. So on his trek south, he's going to come across Glipdel, bump into Tom's Clark. At this point, he doesn't have any deities. He's not really into that. And Tom's character on the walk down from Glipdel to the Watcher's Tower is going to kind of mold him into a good Tritharion worshiper, which is very rare for a elf to be worshipping Tritharion, which is pretty much a human god.
I think it's a great idea because now you're going to have a relationship develop between an elf and a human. And they come from completely different worlds. Your elf, I don't know how old he is. He's got to be probably over 100, right?
So, he's going to be young, but I haven't done the ages yet.
Yeah, he's at least going to be like 70 or something like that. And Gerlad's 18 years old.
Right.
So,
but he's like an old soul, though, Gerlad, guys. He's like wise beyond his years.
Yeah, I'd like to see, especially priests of Tritharion, are really closet good. They got good fighting. They got great spells, man. They got a lot of great, like, Battle Fade and Chaos. A lot of Chaos Sphere spells you usually equate with the evil characters getting. They get. So he's going to have a lot of access to a lot of cool spells in his repertoire of specialty priest spells. Plus, they get some cool abilities, too.
Right.
There's not a priesthood better.
Yeah. What was that, Bill?
There's not a priesthood better than Tritharion.
Yeah, well, Bill's got one of the highest ones. Trevin, who works with the Norwell Hunters, is like the highest one brought up in our campaign from first as a specialty priest of Tritharion. He's like 11th or 12th.
He's right on the border at 12.
Yeah, he's right on the border at 12th. I think he's 11th level. So any other things?
One more thing, though.
There's a lot of attributes to Tritharion, but the ones that really appeal to Gerlad is like individuality, liberty, retribution, self-defense. Those kind of things kind of like take the top of the list for him.
So the one goofy thing that Bainion has is his older brother is a necromancer, and his whole life, his older brother tortured him.
Oh, this is great.
With tales about undead. He would periodically create skeletons to scare the crap out of it at home. This guy has some deep-seated fears of undead. So even though he's a pretty nasty fighter, anything undead, he will not engage unless he absolutely has to. He's going to run or hide behind somebody or fire his bow if he can. He does not want to engage in undead. That just is not natural to him. So that's his biggest fear. He is scared to death of undead.
It's an ode to an old thing that happened, man, and we all know the story. So
Should I say it?
Tell the story. This is a
All
great.
right, so this has got to be 30+ years ago, and we had another player who had a character. We were playing first levels, and one of my most powerful characters now, which is Mistis. She is like a 11-13 illusionist mage, human, dual class. She's nasty, but back then she was a first level illusionist.
She was second. She was second, I think.
I thought she was first.
No, she was first, and he was a second level cleric or something. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Because they go up slower. She was a first level illusionist with 4 hit points, and he had a cleric, and it was her and him in this hallway, and there was a zombie coming at him. So he immediately jumps behind the illusionist to hide, and I think she ends up one of the times she died in life was because of that. So I've had on her sheet that eventually she wants to get even with this cleric. Now, of course, she's super powerful, and he stopped playing, so he's probably still 3rd or 4th level. Yeah. But that has always, we've joked about that almost every time we play about that incident where a cleric jumps behind an illusionist for protection. So he's going to be a fighter who is scared to death of undead and will not engage them, will jump behind somebody, will not want to fight. He will be firing. He'll probably jump behind his buddy, the specialty priest, because he knows they can fight undead better.
But he's got a negative to turn, so he turns like skeletons. He's at level -2, so he turns like skeletons on a 16 at first level. So we'll see what happens there. But dude, I think that's a great idea. And just to play on, and everyone is watching. You know this. The stories are like real. You know what I mean? You remember this. You talk about this amongst friends, and it's like 30 years ago this happened. It's like it happened yesterday. And I remember the look on my face and Alan's face when this player had the character jump. I said to him something like this. I'm sorry for the word, but I said, "Are you fucking for real, man? What are you doing?" He's like, and he grabbed her like this from behind. He was standing behind her like it was a tree or something. Oh my gosh! And it was just. But they're the stories you remember from playing.
Oh yeah.
You know. So and they get developed like that, so I think that concludes it, except for one character left in this group, right? Right. Everyone right? All 3.
I have one left.
You have one, Bill. I'm sorry. Let me flip to yours. And sorry about that. I know they all have bows. Not that one. That one. There you go.
That's awesome.
That's a great figure.
His name is Daiwin Simcoe.
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 And relation to Simcon?
No, Simcoe was in the turn.
There's a reason, and I can talk about that later. But he's one of our newer specialty classes that's only really been in play testing. He's one of our Harrier archers, so it's a hit and run kind of archer. The idea behind the character, his father, Roger Simcoe, Rogers Rangers and Simcoe's Rangers, was a game warden at a lord's estate south of Trinley on the Pool River near Silverwood. And while his father was working, he was a hot shot with a bow, and he could do no wrong, and decided he was going to hit the archery tournament circuit. And he was going to be the next big thing. Well, it's not that easy to be an archer in the world, and he failed miserably. And by the time he returned to the estate where his father's working, his father had died. And he was not welcome because he was a bit of a jerk.
We have a lot of this group. This group is going to be...
needless to say, when you get so down far on your luck and you're a good shot, you end up poaching animals. And, a lot of lords don't like that, and you spend time in the poking for it. So this is... he's essentially being sent off to the Pomarj to pay his debt.
So he's actually one of 2 of them. And Walt, if you're sharing something, it's not popping up in the chat, but so he's not the only one. So basically, he has been conscripted here, is what you're saying.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it was major jail time or go do this to work off the sentence.
He's been conscripted from the Duchy of Ulek, basically, right? So,
Yes.
Okay. We may have lost
Well,
one.
I guess he'd be County of Ulek. He's on the
Oh, he's on the
Silverwood
county side. Okay. All right,
One
cool.
on the eastern side.
Okay, he's on the county side. So,
So are you saying he took the black?
I guess for a better word, yeah, sure.
yeah. It's that's a great story. You didn't tell me that detail on his father and all, and that's cool, man. So he's a Harrier Archer, and a Harrier Archer is a special kind of archer. It's based on Leonard Lakofka's Archer out of the Dragon magazine, but it's got a little more some more abilities, some more stealth abilities, and he tacks on level -1. I've reconverted it back from level -2 to level -1 on the tables. And I've used it in play testing a little bit with an NPC. We're not sure how it's going to work. It's really, if anyone knows, the Archer is a stand and deliver class, and they can do massive amounts of damage. And it's been in balancing going back 30 years. But I've always used what's called DM's Crushing Fist on Archers mostly. You know, they're the target the mages go after. So Harrier Archer's kind of made it a little less potent, but has some more added special abilities to it. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's got a more flavor.
Yeah.
The big disadvantage of this guy coming in is, well, he's never learned how to fight. He doesn't have a melee weapon. He only knows how to use a bow.
So he has no melee weapon. Wow.
Nope, he has
Wow.
one bow, steady aim, and lucky.
That's cool, man. That's great development. I really like that. So we're just gonna have to figure out what he's gonna do if he gets three ghouls on him or something. Pretty
I'm
interesting.
behind the Tritherian priest.
He hides behind the fighter.
That's awesome.
I'm behind the Tritherian priest.
So another thing for people who are watching here and for development, the players in our group will give their characters a huge disadvantage, whether it be Alan's hiding behind fear of undead. Bill's developing a character that doesn't have a melee weapon, so it's going to be some cool things. You got a half ogre with awful communication skills, and so we'll see. There's a lot of flawed characters in this group, and that's what we wanted it to be. We didn't want it to be all the knights are going off and smiting evil. This is going to go some different directions. Who knows what direction it may go? And that leads us to the last character to discuss in this group. The one we'll see if he's hated the most. He got brilliantly play tested at PAX Unplugged by Christine, who just followed us last night, and I really appreciate that. She's under May Allerol. Thank you if you're watching. But you played him fantastically, and that is Fritz Winchester. Okay? Now, a little story about the Winchesters are always known as the I call them the Dunedain of our campaign.
That's all we call them now.
The Winchester tree has grown a lot over the years.
Yeah, straight up, no branches.
No branches at all.
Here's the Winchester family tree, the Charles, and if you get the joke, Charles Emerson Winchester, you can figure that one out if you ever watch MASH. But here's the tree. Now, the story behind this is this. Anyone knows Emerson Winchester III? Yeah, you think supernatural. These Winchesters, Celestian, have existed 20 years before Supernatural Winchesters, even though that TV show is 12 years old. So think about that. These Winchesters started off in the 80s.
It's a great bar, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So,
Shaun of the Dead, wondering.
Yep. You had Emerson Winchester III was fallen. He was a paladin. And in an adventure going back to the 80s, one of Mark's favorites of all time, Amazons of the Crimson Moon, he gets corrupted by this group of feminine only, let's corrupt man females, all super high level powerful. He falls to their corruption, and they try and he used to be David Gradavis's best friend, and he never makes it back. He never makes it back to paladinhood, and he ends up a neutral cavalier for the rest of his life. So he leaves his wife, Dana Coldwell, Emerson Winchester IV, who's the paladin's one of my NPCs, and Marion Winchester, who you're going to see shortly, is his daughter. Dana Caldwell falls on hard times in the city of Rushford, which is It's in Kiel land. It's where the bend in the river is. On the other side is the Duchy of Ulek. That's kind of where it is. It's a town of Rushford. And so she has this affair with this guy, and hence Fritz is born. Okay, so Fritz is a half brother and sister to Marion and Emerson Winchester IV. He's a Coldwell, so he doesn't know his father. He's very bitter, very self-absorbed, very, I'm not saying that typical for a millennial of our time, but you understand what I'm saying. This guy's not what you would consider the best of intentions player. He's been in jail for 2 years when this starts. He's been in prison for 2 years for attempting to kill someone that he was trying to rob an estate in Rushford. They caught him, and he ended up trying to kill him to get away. He's been in jail for 2 years. Basically, someone has come to him, and I don't want to ruin everything, and said, this is it. You want out of jail, you're coming, and you're going here, and you're going to come to your distant cousin Andrea's keep, and you're going to do what she tells you, or you're going back to prison. That's where it is. So he's a thug, which is, anyone knows about the subclass of thug, it's a thief. They get more strong arm tactics, better to hit with melee weapons. They're not as good in thievery. So it's basically a lazy person's thief, which fits him perfectly. I'll say this one more time. This character was played impeccably at PAX Unplugged. The whole RP part of it, and I really appreciate. She gave me some ideas even. And he fights Morningstar, Falchion, Shortbow. Thugs can use one fighter melee weapon in initial proficiency. He likes the Morningstar because he likes the sound it makes when it hits someone in the side of the head. And that's the kind of guy. That's the kind. Yeah. So that's the kind of guy.
Like
What's that, Mark?
Garth will like him.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, maybe not. We don't know if there'll be a lot of conflicts and personalities here. So he's a character neutral. So my goal of this character was simple. Make this character more hated than Michael Baton. Is that possible? I don't know. I'm going to try.
Not possible.
I'm going to try to make this character... now, that doesn't mean he's going to, pull Leo McMichael on everyone. But we will see what happens in the course of gameplay and roleplay, where it goes. And that's the great thing. This is just the beginning point for all 18 of these characters. Some of these may be successful. Some of them may change their ethos. Some of them may go a poor direction in the campaign. Some of them may come to great fame. You don't know. And that's where I am looking so forward to this. We're going to run this through. We're not going to bounce around. When we do this one, we're going to run this through for 4 or 5 adventures. Get some development in this group. And we'll see where this leads us. And I'll tell you this. If you've ever seen, when we play a new group of first in a joint experience group, I do this after the initial introductions is, what do I do with the first 2 adventures? Bill, Mark, Alan, Walt. What do I do? First, I split the party, right?
Yeah.
I split the party up, and I go, you got to go here, and this rest of you got to go here. So I make them just choose where they're sending their characters right off. Now, you have to have at least one in each. So I kind of pull them apart right at the beginning. I'll probably do the same thing with this group, and we'll see. So, but we're not done discussing this yet. Let's go to, everyone has one high-level character that'll, you all right, man?
Yeah.
The nose? Okay. Hanging in there?
Allergies, guys.
It's okay, as long as I don't get anything. So
yeah, you're good.
We're going to talk about the high-level characters everyone has, reintroduce them, because everyone has one, and this is where our campaign really gets its flavor. You're going to have some characters that have not been played in years, or have been for one reason or another. I think Walt dropped, so I'm going to go to him first. Okay? And they're at the end of this list. Okay, well, first off, Andrea Winchester, high-level paladin / cavalier, NPC of mine. She's 3rd in command of the Order of Ulek, behind Lord Gazumba and Falcon Peak. Okay? She is she's now 14th level. It's her keep that you see the pictures up top. That's Winchester's bulwark. The map is up. Let me swing to that map real quick. And once again, Anna, you're gonna have to help me with this in the near future because we want to use your map. And we're gonna. All right. Here's the pick. As you can see in that stick out area of the where it bends, that's Andrea's keep. Herbie's is to the northwest. Outpost 1's the northwest of that. Outpost 2 is south of it. Garth's lands there, but he has not developed that. And there's 2 watcher towers on the other side, which get bombarded all the time. All Knight of Ulek keeps. So if you guys know anything about living Greyhawk, this whole area was overrun by humanoids in the Greyhawk Wars, and it's still to this day I think being held by that. Well, we didn't have that, so and I said when we first started playing, this is the perfect spot to defend against the Pomarj. We did it, and so that's why it's different. So I really want to get away from this old map, and I want to get on Anna's map. And because we're Patreons for hers now, we can be able to edit it, and the detail will be unbelievable. So yes, Mike, absolutely. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to get editing on that map, or have Anna help me with it, or do it, or we'll figure it out, and we'll get all of our places on our alternate world map. And that's the great thing. Once again, it doesn't have to be canon, and it's not. It's obviously not canon. It's our own campaign. Naz, your campaign may go differently. Greyhawk Mike's may go differently. Shane's and the Greyhawk channel may go differently. It's just the way, and that's the great thing about Dungeons and Dragons. So Andrea is third in command. She's out of troops. They were all killed. A majority of them. Her Castellan did not get raised. She has 2 captains and a couple troops left. And Alan, you weren't on, but I didn't. Your Herbie's troops, he lost 50% of them in a surprise attack when you came to this keep to relieve them. And one of the mages that did basically a suicide, not suicide, but a guerrilla mission. He actually meteor swarmed, which is a 9th level spell. Your troops, and you lost 90% of the troops in that as well. So you're at 50% strength. So you can't just come and relieve this this keep. So this keep needs to be filled with people. And it's going to be filled with adventurers. So that's Andrea. All right, let's see. I got to slow this down. One sec here. Let's go right down the list. I got them right in order, and I'll put it on hold. I'll put it on 10 minutes. Okay. All right, there you go. The oldest figure we have in existence that's being used. Alan, who is it?
Alan.
It's Herbie the White. Come on, man.
There he is.
Talk about him.
I painted it myself.
Talk about him.
Herbie?
Yeah, talk about him a little bit.
First character. So basically what happened, I played with Jay. Jay and I played together back in the 70s, late 70s, when we were in 7th and 8th grade. And then when I went to college, I stopped playing for a little while. Met Jay, happened to work with Jay in a summer job just before college, and I started playing again. And so the first characters I made was Herbie and Sam. Sam was a halfling thief, and Herbie was the paladin, Cavalier Paladin, right there.
Yep.
And he was... He's died a lot.
He's a high level. Oh, I forgot something. Damn.
I think he's 13th now.
Yeah, he's old too. Here's the thing. We had a similar deck of many things item, and he got reversed aging a lot. So he's really old. He's probably like in his late 60s, but he's probably like his 30s now because of that. So, and his name's Herbie the White. He has some two children at adventuring groups. He's got a really powerful son. Three. Herbie has Hessler, Liesel, and
Heidi.
Yeah, those 3. So his other keep, he'll be. They may be doing missions out of this keep as well. Herbie's Keep. It's just called Herbie's Keep. He's got to come up with a better name than that now after all these years. So I came up with Winchester's Bulwark. He's going to have to come. Maybe the White Tower.
I thought a burger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The White Tower from the Tower of London.
I was going to, and I forgot. I was going to go through my son's Halloween candy, and I was going to hold up something that could make him have an aneurysm, and it was going to be a Twix bar. And I forgot it. And
you failed.
The story behind that
Twix,
is, tell that story real quick.
So, during when Herbie was up around 9th, 10th, 11th level in that area, we continually went up against this evil Cavalier, Sir Twix. And of course, as a Cavalier, I can't back down from a fight. And this guy would just decimate me with the quickness, and he would die. And so he'd get raised, and then it seemed like 2 adventures later, I'd fight him again and die. And I'd raise him again, and so on and so forth. So,
3 times in a row, he got killed by Sir Twix.
Yeah. So
that goes back to our trip in Ohio, which we estimated to be 1990.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, so we believe that's the oldest figure we use in the campaign. That's from the original Fighter box set, if I recall, and it's all got enamel paint on it. So Herbie the Dipped, Herbie the White. Yeah. All right. So next high level character, it's going to be interacting with this group. There we go, Alan. You're up again. We already talked. That's Garth Warmonger himself.
Yeah, I don't know much more to say about Garth. He is my favorite character I have. He's got a ton of personality. He's not very strong. He's not a very good fighter, but he's got a ton of hit points and a phenomenal armor class. So he just likes wading in and beating things to a pulp. He only takes blunt weapons because he just wants things to. He likes the impact that a blunt weapon gives. If you don't fight well, he will call you out as a pussy. Might even stamp on your forehead a circle with a P on it, like a brand.
He'll brand you with a P. Yeah, absolutely.
He is my favorite character. He's gonna love your thug. As a matter of fact, he might actually bring your thug into his keep and get him special quarters or something, because that's exactly how he wants somebody to fight.
Exactly.
So he's gonna love your guy.
You're not giving him enough credit, though. Okay, so the organization of the Order of Ulek is broken down this way. You have your higher officers. Because we're all over the place and they get their hands dirty in a lot of politics, we have spheres of influence. Those spheres are the following: the Pomarj area, which Garth is the commander of. Okay, then we have Selene, Greater Selene. Then we have the Shieldlands. Then we have Greater Greyhawk, which counts Greyhawk, Harby, that whole area, and then we have the Vestry Forest. So those are the 5 areas. Garth is the commander of all operations in the Greater Pomarj. There's a CO and an XO. He hasn't had an XO in 10 years. Okay? He has not. He's going to have an XO, and we're going to introduce that person shortly. All right? And no one knows yet. So that's Garth. And Garth...
If you showed the map before, he's got a space where he was deeded a place to put a keep in, but he hasn't been bothered with that. He wants to be out in the action, in the Pomarj, and he stays at the Watcher's Towers unless he's adventuring out. He wants his hands dirty all the time.
The idea behind the Watcher's Towers was it's a straight-up tower. They made them specially immune to magical attack. You can't teleport in, you can't dimension door out. And they're just these large towers. The idea was continue them into the Pomarj as an offensive/defensive mechanism. We got in 2 towers deep and realized this is not probably going to be completely feasible at the present time. So there's 2 of them. He likes staying out there, and they're always being attacked, raided. It's pretty cool. And so we had some big adventures out there. Shlem and Mill had a big one with Walt did. So that was the idea. They're on that map too. Pretty cool concept with that, and we're gonna have some stuff out there. Obviously,
we gonna see Poo Poo and Kaka by chance?
They're out of Altamira, man.
Okay,
that's a good question, though.
All right.
Yeah, but you never know, man. I may throw them in at some point. Okay, your new XO is Marion Winchester, the Water Elementalist. Okay, so here's the background.
Oh dear God! Whoa! There's just no way Garth would accept a Madge as his XO.
It's not your choice. It
will be.
It was Gazumba, and Fonkin especially picked her by hand.
Hottie Peak?
I send a protest officially back.
Okay.
Yep, got another Winchester forced down our throats.
Here's the reason.
Well, Garth will force it down her throat.
Here's the reason. Marion went on the Adventure 832, which was Surprise Across the Jewel. She went on that adventure. Okay. You also, Alan, you had Flid and Charlie Bravo on that adventure.
Correct.
She went on that adventure and saw these armies coming across. She's not associated with an adventuring group. She's in that open Altamira group, right? She says, I got to do something. I get involved. Plus, she is being forced by her mother to bring her half brother from Rushford, Fritz, here, basically with something around his neck dragging him here. And so she's like, I got to watch this guy for mother's sake, right? She's got to watch after Fritz as well. So that's another reason why she's here, but she can do a lot of good. You need an offensive spellcaster is always not a bad thing, right? So
yes,
plus I know you guys
it is
love.
A bad thing.
I know you guys love Winchesters. So and look, she's got red hair too. So okay, next character.
Winchester.
Next character.
Let's give another guy for Garth to bag.
Look at that.
Hands down, bar none, one of the greatest characters in the Greyhawk campaign.
Go for it, Tom.
All right, even though Tom the Vindicator is my namesake, this is probably one of my all-time favorite characters. Guys, here's the character sheet. It's over 30 years old. It's got a little...
It's
little
frayed at the
yeah.
corners and stuff. How old is he?
All right, so, well, he's actually 65, but he's
Human.
unnaturally 60. He is a 10th level human archer, lawful good. He's from Verbabank.
What's his name?
Ace Broadhead. Ace Broadhead.
Yep, there's his figure. He's got
Knight of
the, see the
York.
U? He's got the Knight of York symbol on all. Ace
Middle
Broadhead.
class.
Go ahead. Ace Broadhead finished the first Temple of Elemental Evil as well back in 86, 87. So, very ranking on the Order of Ulek sheet. He joined up very early in a very early time. He's one of the first original 30. So, go ahead.
So he's going to be. We're going to have an interaction with him where he kind of is a mentor once again and helps lead some of the archers.
Yeah. So his idea is, well, Arcturus in Altamira created an archer school, right? The best offense in this is wall defense. He's out here to train as many of your bow types and anyone with who has some bow archery skill here. He's old. He's 60. Next year he turns to old age. He has nothing to undo it, right? So he's going to turn old. He's going to lose a lot of stats. That -2 strength con or whatever. So he figures this may be his last hurrah to do something.
Right.
So
A funny thing, guys, and I don't know if Jay ever brings this up, but a lot of our characters are based upon people we've come across in this lifetime. So,
yes.
first of all, we used to do this thing back in the 80s and early 90s where if we would see somebody that we would meet or know that kind of they express some kind of things that look like humanoids, we would create characters out of them.
Like DePaulo.
Like DePaulo, who was the half ogre, right?
Half orc,
Well,
yeah.
Ace Broadhead was actually based upon a guy, Mike Madden, that we used to work with. First of all, for Jay, Al, and the guy Steve that popped in here recently, and myself, we used to work at RCA back in the 80s, and this is how some of us, got together and met. And a lot of the people that we used to see in RCA, they became like the motivation for things. But there was one guy named Mike Madden who he was the model for Ace Broadhead.
It looked just like him.
Yeah,
I mean,
with
with a mustache and everything.
Yeah,
it was perfect.
So, it's funny how some of those things evolved from people that we actually knew.
I think that's a Prince August figure, isn't that, Mark?
I believe you're right.
That's a Prince August
Yeah,
figure.
Prince August or Julie Guthrie?
That's a good question. It's one or the other. It's one of those original Grenadier Julie Guthries or Prince August.
Yeah.
It's an old figure, and I'm glad to bring him back in. Ace will be a great asset, and he'll be the old school. I mean,
He's
we
like,
are.
if you think of Top Gun, he's kind of like the Tom Skerritt, Michael Ironside. He's a
Jester's
trainer.
dead.
Well, we know Jester's dead, but
Yeah, it does look really leady, and a lot of those Mike are that way too. Like I don't even want to know what Herbie's made out of, but in those old original Fighter box set.
oh, he's absolutely lead.
Yeah. So
But
the deal was I wanted to bring one high level back in for everyone, and this is a huge opportunity to get Ace back into the campaign because he's been kind of sitting around since 1980s. Last time he played was 2001. The double critical, he double critical hit with a bow. Show him where it hit.
Yeah, guys. So basically, what happened was, remember my double critical the other day?
Yeah,
Which
with
was-
Rumple
With
Foreskin.
Rumple Foreskin, right.
Yeah.
So what happened was Jay had this 8th level archer half drow that was supposed to wreak havoc on our party, and rightly so would have. And as he was basically ready to take out some of our players, I rolled a double critical. The way we envisioned it is basically the first arrow went right into his throat,
Critical, yeah.
and like milliseconds later, the other one went right into his forehead. And well,
Yeah.
that was the end of that.
No, that was
And Jay was like, "That's not fair. That's not fair." He had a whole amount of destruction that this half drow archer was going to do, and Ace took him out just
took
like
him out.
that.
He was undamaged.
Double critical, man. Pop, pop,
Undamaged.
Done.
Out. That happens, man. That's what happens when you have a critical hit table.
Hey, I got one word for you.
Yeah. Come on, Naj, you're not putting up the wah head quick enough. There's the wah head. Come on, with the wah right on my forehead. So that's a great story, and like I said, another thing that we remember from the old days. But this, yeah, that's it.
That was like my greatest moment.
Yeah, well, it was a fantastic. No, your greatest moment. I'm going to divulge here, and this may be a little gross and disgusting for some people.
Oh no, don't do it. Don't do it.
Rumple Foreskin. Okay, we won't talk about it. All right, so he's got Rumple Foreskin in this group. Let's just say there was someone passed out, and he had a special way of creating smelling salts. That's all I'll say, to get the guy awake to know. Yeah, so Rumple's playing. Yeah, Rumple's playing in this group now. Yeah, a gnome thief. Think about it. So you can see him this Thursday night in the Reborn. He's playing in that group right now, and the fight's going to be very difficult this upcoming Thursday. But Rumple is being played again. So, all right, let's continue onward. Let's see what we got here. It's also high level. Okay, Gilgalad. Now, Gilgalad adventured in the actual defense of Winchester's Bulwark. He was there. He's a dual-class paladin magic user going back, and he's another old guy. He's a human. It's Walt's character. It's another opportunity to come out of retirement. So who knows what he's going to be doing. He may be out there with Garth. He may be out there with Marion Winchester. He may be out there with Andrea. But is there anything better to have than a dual-class paladin mage at your side? Probably not. I mean, it's, and he also has a Hammer Thunderbolt. So Gilgalad is Walt's character that I'm bringing back. He had some ideas for some other ones, but I almost forced his hand on this. So, yes, that's it, Naz. You got the win head out plenty. So Gilgalad is Waltz. Okay, there you go, Bill Aylwin, who's being played right now in the Reborn as well. Hopefully he survives. Tell us.
Well, I mean, Aylwin's 8th level ranger, Knight of Ulek.
Yep.
For a couple of years now, he's requested assignment to the Pomarj.
Yes.
But he's not 9th level yet, so he's not an official Knight of Ulek to be in any type of command position. But this is where he wants to be. This is where he thinks he can do the most good.
So tell them the base idea of what you want to do. So, where this group's going to evolve into, because it was your idea and you got to take credit for it. So I want you to get. So
yeah, I mean, Elwin's, at least I using Elwin as the idea, basically said, hey, look, we need troops any way, shape, or form we can get them. And to do this, we'll take the best and the worst that people have to offer, and try to mold them into some type of force. Because we just need bodies. Sometimes bad guys can be good guys. Look at the Dirty Dozen. It's
perfect example.
You take bad people and make them do the right thing.
And if you're a friend.
Yeah.
What was that, Alan? You kind of zonked there. What were you saying?
I'd say, an enemy of your enemy is your friend.
Yep.
Even if they're not good.
Naz has a great memory. Gilgalad got his ass kicked. You're absolutely correct. Remember that crazy, he got slaughtered, got put down, and someone saved him at the last second. He didn't die, but he was in the negatives. He was out. Yeah, you're absolutely correct, Naz. Gilgalad got completely obliterated because he went to his fighting mode, and he got his butt kicked. Thank you for that memory, dude. I really appreciate that you remember what actually happened in that adventure, because it was the toughest adventure I ever DM'd, because I literally had to account for 150 things. It was insane. But yeah, that was another one. So Bill wants this to turn into its own Dirty Dozen group, whatever it gets named. That's where this wants to go, and everyone wants to, right? Everyone wants to lead it. So that's where his character will tie in. All right, let's see what we got next. Temporal. Go ahead, Mark.
Okay, so Temporal is one of my characters. She's been around for a very long time, actually, since the 80s as well. It was something that I had started a very long time ago, and she's actually one of Britomard's really good friends. Used to adventure with her early on. She is the commander in the Selene area, and has a place right by a town which we call East Vesper, which is right on the edge of the Jewel River and just south of Whelpwood, if I remember correctly.
East Vesper, the amphitheater is in East Vesper, right?
Yeah. And so essentially what she does is she works as a diplomat between Selene and the Knights of Ulek. She also works with another group which is known as the Corellan's Arrows, and has a lot of interaction with them. And so because of what's going to be going on in the Sus Forest, obviously, she has a vast interest in it, simply because she doesn't want anything to enter into Selene, from the south and start compromising Selene.
So she is the Knight CO for Greater Selene. Okay,
Yes.
and then just C is the XO. But so what? Also, what? Tell everyone who what her long-term relationship goals are.
So she has always had a humongous crush on Gazumba. He's well aware of it. He's never taken advantage of her, which makes her respect him even more. Not that she's obviously thrown herself at him, but she just is completely infatuated with him. Just is one of those types that just feels just so bad for him for all the things it is that he has gone through, and she just wants to be the person in his life that helps make it right.
You want to be the shoulder he cries on.
Yes.
Oh, for God.
So for those of you who don't know, Lord Gazumba, head of the Order of Ulek, is a widower. His wife was killed by a sphere of annihilation from the Apollo.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
In revenge, after the first Temple of Elemental Evil, when some of the fragments of the Temple of Elemental Evil got away at that time, and he kidnapped a bunch of people, killed some characters, and one of them, and that. So he's never really gotten over that. He had a thing with everyone has. I'm sorry, Walt's not here. With Lena for a little bit, but that's it. So he's kind of in his work all these years. It's been 33 years since he's taken over command of the Order of Ulek.
By the way, Garth bang Lena.
Of course he did. So this will be good because Temporal was on that fight. Naz, if you remember, she was very instrumental. She is the character that put the Sovereign Gloom in the trebuchet, stopped that, did all that, feared all those. She was she was the star of the game early on in that fight. Really got it from the trolls getting thrown in by the trebuchet in. So, and thank you, Miniature Building Authority, for all that equipment, too. We really appreciate the deal you gave us for me getting all the battering ram and all that, and the tower. All came from MBA, our sponsor. So, thank you, Kirk, on that, too. Let's go on. I think we got one more. And this one is going to be also everyone's favorite prince. Has a representative here.
Prince Patrick?
There he is. No.
Oh.
He was on Arden the Vanquisher.
Yes.
Who was on that adventure as well. He came.
Yes.
So tell the background on him.
Okay, so Arden the Vanquisher was a character that I had started kind of to get away from the knighthood. I was, to a point where it was like everything was always about the knighthood. And got tired of doing it. I said, you know what? I want to have somebody that is a little bit of a character that is against it. And so the biggest, I wouldn't necessarily say nemesis, but the biggest pain that we've always dealt with in the knighthood came from the prince, from the Principality of Ulek. And so Arden had steeled himself with the prince and set himself aside to, always try to thwart the knighthood. And so because of all the stuff that goes on in the Pomarj, and what was going on with Andrea's Keep, the prince sent him out there as his emissary and said, look, they're just like screwed up. They don't know what the hell it is that they're doing. So you need to go out there and straighten them up, And so that's exactly what he did. He went out there and,
So Arden has adventured. He's adventured in the Legion. He's a member of the Legion, the Upper Shieldlands, but he's down here now because of this. He is, and this is out. This is so off canon. The Prince of Ulek is really a jerk. Okay, the Dwarven. He hates the Order of Ulek because it's not under his control. Even though they protect,
show up.
Yeah, the eastern border is protected by them. Dwarven pride has gotten the better of him. And so there's a lot of tension there. He's actually has, I don't know how it is in canon, but he actually has a group of highwaymen out there that actually does raiding on a lot of the Order of Ulek caravans and stuff that goes up to Altamira. He doesn't protect the human communities up north, as we saw in the Call from Glipdel. He doesn't patrol up there. It's really, a situation where this is where we do the political aspect of the game. And the neutrals and the goods are not getting along on a common goal when they should. I mean, it reminds you of Lord of the Rings with the greed of a Smog's Lair, that kind of thing, And it's just to show that it's not all black and white with us, and there's a lot of other things going on. That doesn't mean they can't work together. Arden came in and was vital in that fight, right? And understands that the humanoid's got to go first, but he's a lawful neutral, so he's to the prince. He's not a fan of Shlomo Meal, and so it's a lot of Why would you protect Lipdell now as you should? Yeah, exactly. That's a rhetorical question in itself. Absolutely. So that's the group of characters we have, and let me see. I think that was it.
Yeah. Yes, Greyhawk Mike. That's still Prince. It's based on Prince Corin.
Yeah, we have a different name for him. His name's Prince Dorak in ours. Once again, this is before the Greyhawk City box set was even out, so we made some changes back then. It's probably, I would say, it's not Corin. I don't want to ruin the besmirch name of a good dwarven prince, but it's a little bit different in our campaign.
It's fun to besmirch him. Come on.
But it's like I said, direction went a whole different way with us, and that's what happens when you don't have the resource. You don't have. There's no From the Ashes box set out for us back in 1982, or 81 when we started doing this. So, okay, thanks. Hey, Mike, you know a lot more about those details than me, and that's why I can't wait to really get interacting in the future of Greyhawk Group. I really can't. I'm looking forward to it. So that's where we are. What's going to happen is they're all going to start coming into this keep. I'm going to put the keep back up in a winter scene. Bill's going to help. Let's go to Bill and see what he's making now. How about that?
I'm not in the workshop today. I'm down in the basement. It is too cold to be outside.
Okay. Why don't you just talk about what you're making then? How about that?
Well, I mean, the guys that are on also, I'm working on a tiered hill with a spiral ramp leading up to it, all set for winter stuff.
Okay. And that'll be ready for this, obviously. It'll be ready within the next couple
yeah. Well, it'll probably be ready next week or so. It's, I got the base paint and thick snow done now. It's all the detail work, adding the shrubbery and fine detail work. So.
What do you have left on figures? Like 2.5?
3.5. I haven't touched figures this weekend. Okay. I got a little more done on Tom the Younger, but that's as far as I got.
Okay. And Tom the Younger is the 3-phase Gazumba figure, right, which is cool. If you remember, the characters had 3 phases back then in the Ralph Parth Blister, and they were fantastic. The detail for them at that time was great. So it's actually a Gazumba figure, another phase of that. So
you have it up there again, right?
Yeah. I'll spin it up here real quick after I get past her, just so you can see it. It's got his head painted. There it is. There it is. Yeah. So that's where we are. They'll come to Winchester's Bulwark. We'll start there. We'll see. They'll get some missions. It's going to be a lot of heavy role play. There's 18 characters. There's going to be a lot of interaction. The inn's going to be bustling. First night, we may not get to any adventuring at all outside the keep. So we'll see. And I got a list.
Multi.
I have my books. Oh my gosh, yeah. I have my books ready. I have my notes here. I have some oldie but goodies I'm going to incorporate. I'm going to give you a sneak peek of 1 or 2 of them. So I may do N1 in this group at some point against the Cold Eruptor. I've never run it. I may fit that in somewhere. We'll see. I'm going to do this, and I'm only going to do this one. I'm not going through the Slavers series, but I'm going to revamp. This was made for 4th edition. Okay, this is Danger at Darkshelf Quarry. This is A0 before A1 even happens. This is perfect for these levels. I'm going to work this in somehow, I think. Another can thing. This is by Skip Williams. Give him credit. I'm going to work this in somewhere too. Then a lot of the rest of it's going to be homegrown stuff. Okay? But there are a couple of them I want to... Yes, a shrubbery. I'll bring some shrubberies and some things like that. But that's where it's going to go. Anyone have any questions online? I mean, I know we went over a ton of detail, but man, I appreciate everyone jumping in. Once again... Anna's was the best Gabbin we ever had. Thanks, Anna. To this point, last week surpassed that in viewership. This week has surpassed last week's. I really appreciate everyone's interest, and that makes us feel great. I mean, we want to bring the old school back. I think we're all excited about that. I know Tom's been playing for 8 weeks now, and what's your experience been last 2 months?
It's just great to be back. It really is.
Yeah. So, what's been your favorite thing that's happened?
Probably
What's that, Alan? What'd you
Don't
say?
say that with me.
Yeah, well, of course, seeing everybody.
Yeah.
But the Glipdale one was great.
You love the Dark Elves with the
Yes.
Driders
Yeah.
running around
Yeah,
and all.
that was good.
That was good. You saw Poo Poo and Kaka, and you loved that.
That really
Yeah,
made it too.
Poo Poo, the Goblin, and Kaka, the Bugbear, which are neutral. They're actually members of the Ultimate Bounty Hunters Guild, so they're full members. So they're neutral characters. They work with anyone. No evils though. They don't go on the evil side. So, but I'm glad to hear you like that one. I
So
had fun
Tom,
with that
it
one.
wasn't the what's the name? The record of being the only player with 2 double crits.
Yeah, that's insane, isn't it?
Yeah, you now have 2.
I was
2
hoping for something. I needed something like that too, and to think that Rumpel pulled that off is just amazing.
Yeah, so guys, if you watched last Thursday, and by the way, Stupid Jay puts a power pack on a switch, and then my Orby kept on, because someone stepped on the cord and it went across and it knocked the switch off, and the Orby went off, and I lost. That was my foolishness. That's resolved. So, Rumpel Foreskin backstabbed, backlegged a frost giant and double critted him. With both. So it was like, I don't know how many dice you rolled, but it was the most. But it was pretty funny. It was a good. It was another good
triple and a
moment.
double.
What's that, Bill?
It was a triple and a double. So
One was a
it
triple. One was a triple.
It was triple damage tripled and a double and a double triple.
Yeah, so it was a 9 die. It was a 9 die 8 and a
was
6
crazy.
die 3 or something crazy.
6 die 3.
We have a pick of it too, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. You took that. Okay, so here's what's coming up, guys. If you go to the events listing and all, take a look at that. I am going to do a quickie on Wednesday starting at 7 p.m. I'm going to do an update on the adventure that we're doing because we're going to be to the main fight on Thursday night. So I'm going to do an update on Adventure 838, Elemental Evil in the Lord Mills. This adventure is specifically made to tie into Mark's campaign with something, and Mark knows about it. So it's between DM Marco and DMJ here. And so we have a connection there that we're running. Something like an oldie but a goodie, and this is to tie that in, to bring back some we all love Elemental Evil. We all love that cult idea, so we're going to work that into both groups. His group, Siege of Boardrooms Watch, is off Monday, so there won't be anything on Monday, but I'm going to broadcast on Wednesday. It'll be an hour. That'll be it. I'll go over some of the stuff going on in that. Thursday night, 7:30 p.m., Adventure 838. We'll finish that one up, and there's going to be some there's going to be a lot of post stuff in that. It won't be fight, treasure division, or whatever they're successful. Then we're going to have some post-mortem on that adventure. And then next Sunday, I discussed this a little bit. We really want to get into it's going to be called Delving Deeper into the Specialty Priest. I think it deserves. We did something on all our classes very early on in our Gabbin shows. This is 25, by the way. This is a quarter century, guys. Woo! So we're a quarter century there. Number 26 next Sunday night. I'm not sure who will guest. I'm assuming some of us will hop in on this one as well. We're going to talk about the NPC, especially priest classes like the Earth Dragon, Aerith Null, Eaz, Leviatar is a good one.
Narol.
We're going to talk about all of them.
Cord.
What's that?
Cord.
Washtri is a good one. Tritharian is a good one. Uko, of course, is the best one.
Yes.
He is Ilmater, Hexter, Heronius, Foltus, Ralishaz, the Red Knight, St. Cuthbert, the Stormlord, Ula, Washtri, Ouija, Zilchis. That's Michael Baton, of course.
Great.
Yes,
Zilchis.
Farlang, Irithan Elisir, Illustrae, Alana, Clangadin, Flandale Steelskin.
How about
A lot
Cord?
of other ones. So we have like 4. We're going to talk about them and talk about how that really gives our campaign fleshy substance when it comes to priests and deities. And I think second edition, the number one, 2 things it gave us that we love. The spheres, which you turn into classes, elementalists, and specialty priests. I think they're the 2 best things that came out of second edition. You guys agree with me on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love the specialty priest. It rarely is allowed to be multi-class. It depends on the specialty of the character. Walt plays a lot of those thief specialty priest classes, and we're going to just talk about some different ones, some of the different abilities they have, some of the spells we have, where we got the spells from. That way you guys can all know, hey man, this is a good reference. We'll bring out the reference books we use to build a class. I'll show you how to build a specialty priest spell list, and where I get, how I do it. And that'll be a cool one next week. So same time, 7:30, delving into specialty priest. We're trying to set up a day for this new first. I don't know what everyone's schedule's like over the holidays, but we may start on December 27th. Is everyone iffy on that?
Iffy.
How about you, Bill? How about you, Alan? You said you were good on that date?
I am iffy.
You're iffy?
Yeah, on the 27th. I don't. If I'm working that Friday, I can play. If I'm not, I am leaving early to go to the shore for New Year's.
All right. Well, you'll know that shortly, won't you?
I hope so. Yeah. It depends on orders.
Hey, man, just let
When you get done playing, then you can just go back down the shore.
That's what Tom would do.
That's what I would do.
So, any last questions from the group? Thank you all for this. I know we ran a few minutes late, but man, I wanted to get this out and show you what we do this with every group. But we never have streamed a new first level group because we started Iron Fury, the last group, before we started streaming. We did that once again specifically for Expedition of the Ruins of Greyhawk, and we took them as a feeder group for a high level group, the Iron Brigade, which is the top group, mercenary group in the Greyhawk. They freed Tensor. They've done all the big things in there. Of course, there's 2 Winchesters in that, but actually there's 3 now because Kieran the monk had a child, and it's a Winchester too, right, Bill?
Yeah.
He's not listening, so
It's not a Winchester.
that's what I wanted to hear. So, but that group we did before we started streaming. So we tend to do a new first level group.
Kieran's adopted.
Every 2 to 3 years. This is going to be the new first one. We're going to run with this one for a while. Wanted to show everyone out there what it's about. You can ask me some questions offline. I'd be more than happy, Naz, if you have anything. Anna, I want to get with you at some point. And Mike, let's get this canon thing going. Let's get all this stuff. I know Icarus is building up the site. I'm excited about it. I want to bring some of our content to it. But I really am really excited about getting Anna's map, getting all that humanoid area in Eastern Pomarj, Eastern Principality wiped off and put what's there for us just in our world. And getting Altamira on the map too. A number 1 priority. So, let me see if we got any other questions. Roll for So, that's what's going on. Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you so very much. I know, I thought the Greyhawk channel would be on by now. I don't want to raid TPK games. No one's on. I was going to raid someone, but there's no one on that we have, that I have followed. There's no one on the raid. None of them are on. Ukador's not on, none of them. So, I added a joint, host. I now have 7 of them with Gargamon. He's a 2nd edition streamer. He does everything. I think it's either Roll D20 or Fantasy Grounds. He uses one of those. So he does a little different style, but he's old school OSR 2nd edition. So check him out. He's in my follow list. He's got us on joint follow. So we have Ukador. We have TPK Games. We have Return of the Bandit Kingdoms. We have Anna. Thank you. We have Jeff's site. And we have a couple others. So we're trying to set that up so that we have, we're trying to get to the streamers that are like of a smaller size. That's, under 500 roughly. We have Skagith as another one. And so that's what we're trying to do. Thank you all. Any last words from any of you guys? Hey, thanks players, everyone. I know Walt had to hop off. Thanks all for coming and joining and participating in this. I'm so glad you all were able to do it. I know the Eagles lost. That sucks, but this was great. I mean, I love this. We're going to have a DMs roundtable in early 2019. Anna's going to participate. I want to see if Mike will participate. Mark, we're going to do our second one. We did one with Will and we did Brian. I want Brian to participate again from that outside D&D perspective. And we're going to do another DMs roundtable on Gabbin in early January, I think. We'll do that as well. So that'll be another opportunity to get other people involved together on our channel. And I think that's it, guys. Let me see. Sprocket's got something. Anna, thank you so very much. Skags is tomorrow night, okay. So we'll see you all Wednesday night, 7 to 8. It's quick, it's an hour. It's just an update. You can catch it on vid if you can't make it. I'm just going to talk about what's going on. But thank you. I'm gonna hit the exit
Thanks
screen.
for
here.
tuning in, guys.
Hey, thanks for Tom for showing up here. My wife fed him, so it was a good one for him. So, Alan, thanks, man. Mark, thanks. Bill, thanks.
Yep.
Walt, thanks.
Yep.
All of our VIPs, Sprocket, Naz, thanks. All the Canon people, Anna, Jeff, Grim Sparkle, thanks. And all the other people watching, thanks. Give us a follow if you can, if you haven't already. We'll see you soon. Talk to you. And remember, it doesn't matter what edition it is. It's still Greyhawk. Greyhawk's the way to go. We love it. And like I said, it's your game. You play it the way you want, but Greyhawk's the way.
Just have fun.
Just have fun with it. All right, guys. See you soon.
From the edge of the sea, from the edge of time, beckons
All right,
a
guys.
destination.
Have a good night.
Ancient.
All right, guys.
Peace out. Take it easy, guys.
This
Hey,
is
Naz, I
Harbor
didn't
Town.
bash 5e.
Harbor
Congrats to
Town is
Naz,
an all-new
too, guys.
series from Miniature Building Authority, the leader in tabletop gaming
He
scene.
won 75. Give
Flexible and playable,
on
Harbor
Thursday night.
Town will take your games to